Deanna, you can't hear me?
Hello?
Hello, testing 1, 2. John, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Awesome. And Michelle, how about you?
Trying to figure this out.
Are you able to hear us? We'll keep talking so you can check that out. Keep talking. We'll do a technical. You know, I learned over 25 years we can count past 2. Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Check, check.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hi. Hello. Thanks for joining us. I know we've got some more people coming, but it is so awesome to see you guys. I have mine as well. Scott, let's take a minute to introduce everyone that's here so far. And you see in their schoolroom in the beautiful red hair, that's my wife, Michelle. And she
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
So thankful to be here with you guys. I heard so many wonderful stories. Yay.
Oh, yeah.
And
There's
they're all
a lot of
mostly true.
stories.
Deanna, I want to thank you for helping to make this happen because I saw your Facebook post and you said, somebody do something. And I said, well, I'm doing these.
Thank you for doing it.
You're welcome. I'm doing these online events. I'm learning every time we do one. So I really appreciate you guys joining us. Right now, it looks like we are it for now. So let's get going. But we're probably going to have some more people joining us as we go. So we can start by introducing ourselves. I'm Kelly Gilford. I did the special effects supervision, and on Night Orchid was a really privilege to do that, especially at that point in our education / careers. 25 years ago to start out on such an awesome epic undertaking to make a feature film. My God, and for it to turn out as well as it did is just amazing. So I'm really happy to have been involved and I feel really fortunate that all the pieces came together for that to happen. And so we've got Jean-Luc, Jean Senelier. He is here joining us as well.
Jean-Luc.
It is
Yes,
awesome.
sir. Hi, everybody.
Hey.
It's good. It's so good to see you, man. I know that you did a lot of things back then. I know you've done a lot of things since, but particularly on Night Orchid, you were doing the art department. Or no, I'm sorry, you were working with Company Electrics.
No, I was the swing grip, which I was
swing.
doing both.
Okay,
Yeah,
so you jumped
I was
between.
doing both electric and grip at the same time.
I understand. So that's a huge learning experience and undertaking to take on that many roles at once. Deanna, oh my God, I looked at how many roles you had there. It's amazing. You had makeup, sound. Well, let's go back to makeup because there was some special effects in there, and we also worked together in special effects. And then also the sound. You worked with sound, right? It's amazing, and I think you helped drive the production because the photos that you sent over, my God, you're like everywhere.
I wanted to experience everything.
Yeah,
It was so fun.
and then we got to work together on a couple of productions after the graduation and everything. That was a pleasure to work with you in the field and on a couple of ad campaigns, and it was really fun. And then Scott, we've got. You know what, Deanna, it's really dark where you're at.
Yeah, let me turn the light on.
Oh, no problem. Sorry, I couldn't see you, but Scott, I understand you are now father, Circe.
Well, I went from behind the camera to in front of it in a particular way by I don't know. So it was a good experience though, just having that production mentality there, and I got to work on the company electrics. Actually, I think Claudia was the chief electrician on that, and then working with Steve Kona and the grips kind of working together.
That's right, Claudia went. Yep.
Yeah. What a fun time that was, and I know that wasn't there a get together a few months ago as well. I wasn't able to make that physically in person, but I think Deanna, you were there, and a couple others as well.
It was great. It was a really good turnout.
And that was in Orlando?
Yes, it was at the M Lounge on the roof. It was a really nice evening. It was great to see everybody.
It was cool.
I'm actually over in Indy Atlantic, but no one knows what Indy Atlantic is. It's actually in Melbourne area. So
okay.
Absolutely.
Did you get the invitation that night? I know the chef tried
did get the invitation, but it was on a Saturday night, and Sundays are a little busy for me the next day.
Sure.
So I could having to go out there and then come back. that's a little tough. So
That's your busy. That's your busy
Hey,
day,
I have a
Scott.
question
We
for
understand.
Deanna. Hey, Deanna,
Hey,
how do you look the same 20 years later?
do you see
What?
these wrinkles? That's why I had the light off.
I don't see any wrinkle. Kelly, be my
Oh,
witness,
you
right,
look
Kelly?
fantastic, Deanna.
She looks the same, right?
You know,
You
it's
do.
8:30. It's past my bedtime. No, thank you. That's very sweet. It's
Well,
crazy that it's been 25 years, right?
I know. I can't believe it. You know, all the timing and culminating of us talking now, it's really cool because Michelle and I, we watched My Name is Dolomite, and that film is so great. It's like inspirational just about the whole making of film and having that passion to get it done, regardless if you have a giant budget or not. And coming up from his roots with doing like radio shows and recordings and stand up, and then bringing that persona to the screen, and seeing Eddie Murphy portray that role was just
you did
incredible.
a great job. You
It
did
was, and
amazing.
for me, like, you know, with this background that we all share in filmmaking, it was an inspirational thing to watch. It is funny and R-rated as it was. It no problem there, but you know, it just seemed like it was pretty realistic, and I think that was where the inspiration came from, is where that passion is, you know, involved in making a film. So
The passion and perseverance, and just not taking no for an answer. I think that's big.
that's right.
You know, it's funny you say that, Kelly, because that movie kind of remind me of the late Ralph Clemente.
I'm glad you
That
brought
character,
up Ralph.
that character, you know, the Eddie Murphy character, you know, because remember Ralph, you know, was a schmooter, you know?
Yeah, schmooze.
Yes, he never took no for an answer. So,
The rest
you
his
know,
soul.
when I was watching that movie, it kind of bring back memories, you know?
He's the reason why I even attended the program. I drove out from Tampa and actually moved to Orlando, you know, after seeing what they had built over there, you know, merging with the theater program with Rick Reichfeld and Michael Shug, and what was being done at the time was incredible. You had to go to USC to get into even a foot in the door of a classroom that would, you know, get into that type of production. You might be able to watch it happen, but we got to be able to get our hands on the gear and all work together and figure out how this stuff works, and have great professors come in from working in the field that, you know, we're actually bringing something to the table that, you know, what the students needed now to get up and running and get careers going in the production field, which was just amazing. So they had that foresight.
Remember the great
passion.
George Romero came to our class. Remember George Romero, Cameron's father?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, we did a little piece together. That was pretty cool.
That was really cool.
It was, and you know, I think it was called Jack-A-Ranta Joe, if I remember right. They did a bunch of extras like bikers and armed them like militias, and they were all in search of this Jack-A-Ranta Joe. Michelle, you might have heard the legend, being from Florida, but it's about a Bigfoot type creature that roamed the swamps. And I just remember one of our adjunct professors, Phil Dunkel, who got to work with in Orlando with the Magic in the production facility, was a great guy. But he was dressed up like a biker, and he's carrying a shotgun in this footage. And I was like, that's so amazing to see our professors, you know, doing this, taking the roles on and having fun and doing more than what, you know, their contract says, you know, from a 9-to-5 status to get a check. This was more about that love and that passion. And I think Ralph did an awesome job of piecing all of that together and making it, like I said, the pieces culminated all at the right time. And that was just incredible to be a part of that. And the roots were like earlier than like Michelle. We didn't just jump into a feature right away. We started out in other stuff, right? Like we did PSAs, right? I think we did one with the Magic. But even before that, didn't we do a music video?
Yeah, What's the Frequency, Kenneth? I think, right?
That's right. We did REM.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Oh, that's cool.
I never hear that song on the radio ever.
I know.
What's the Frequency is a song it's by REM?
Yep.
It's called What's the Frequency?
Cool. I have to look it up. I like the Orange Crush song.
Apparently, there's a backstory behind that with like Dan Rather being attacked in person. And one of the attackers, apparently being on like drugs, was inspired to say that line, which is "What's the frequency, Kenneth?" as he's attacking Dan Rather. So, yeah, a strange roots for a song, an origin, but it's a good, catchy melody, right? It's a good tune. But I do remember us all in a dumpster, working in a big construction dumpster.
Okay, Night Orchid, right? does anyone remember that we had a celebrity guest on Night Orchid? Who was it, and what was that person's position?
That's a great question.
If anybody remember.
Are you talking about on the production end, in the technical side?
End, yes.
So wasn't David Kniper? He was involved, but who are you referring to? Because I'm not sure
who was the DP of Night Orchid?
It was Paul Atkins.
Oh, Paul. Okay. Well, yeah, Paul. You know, have you guys seen Paul lately? He's become a big deal. Big, big time DP director, right?
Well, they might be joining us tonight. If not, we're going to have another call set up in the future where we're talking to Mark. I know Mark wanted to join us. We have a message from him actually to look at tonight, which is pretty cool. He's actually on a production, which is amazing. They're shooting out in Colorado on location, and in this clip, you'll
people working. That's great.
Yeah, Deanna, that was really good to see. In the clip, everyone was being safe. There was masks being used, and but more importantly, he was, apologetic he couldn't be here with us to talk about this, but he wants to definitely join us when he has the time. So we'll arrange that. We'll make that happen and get more people involved. I definitely know there was more people that wanted to join us that the timing didn't work out for them. So we're going to do a series of these calls and I think talk about, movies in general, but more, let's talk about Valencia. Let's talk about the Night Orchid experience. And then we can, get into, where we're at now, what we're doing, how we're getting through these kind of crazy times and what we're doing to keep us sane.
It's been 5 years as well since Ralph passed away, correct?
It has. Oh my gosh, it has been 5 years. And he was an incredible man, and his drive and passion was just, and his character, like Jean was saying, a schmoozer, and he just made things happen, and that was, I think, the big thing that I realized right away. From
every time I go into a party where I don't really know anybody, I think of Ralph and I go do the schmoozing. It's just it flows forth from that. It's great.
That's right.
Yeah, there's a little bit of Ralph spirits among all of us.
Yeah.
And if you ever meet him and be with him and work with him, he left something in you. You learn something a lot. You learn a lot from him. But he was the sweetest guy, man. He was the greatest human being I ever met in my life.
Yeah,
I remember like trying to get into the Valencia film program. It was saturated. It was so many people all over there, so many students all over the world trying to get this little small program. So I remember I couldn't get in because there was too many people. So what I did before the program starts, I went to his office and I begged him. I said, Ralph, listen, man, either I come to this film school or I go to the Army. I don't want to go to the Army. I want to
didn't do that.
Right.
He saved you.
He did.
I said, I'll wash your car. I'll come here every day and wash your car and assist you, and just let me in. And sure enough, he took the deal with me. He said, all right, come, let me see your dedication. And then every day I show up, I help them around the office, and sure enough, the day of the program, I look at the list, and my name was on the list.
That's
a great story.
I'll never forget that.
I did know that it was right around our time, and actually I just went on the Valencia Film Production Technology website, and they still have up there on their website that Steven Spielberg says that this is one of the best film programs in the nation.
Yes.
And he had just said that on the Today Show right before we got on there, right?
That's right.
I think it was our class that went in there because we had just been accepted. I had just been in the theater program, and I was working in the theater program, and then that came out or something, and I never would have been able to be accepted if
well, the live component was a big part, but
after
Scott,
that, yeah.
Did you know that there was 2,000 applicants after that clip on the Today Show?
I know.
And Michelle, we had 50 spots. 50 spots per program.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so
I didn't realize I was so lucky to get in.
We absolutely were. Yeah, it was like a groundbreaking program. Really was, because most of it.
Now I don't know anybody.
Well, I know that what I've seen is kind of and Jean can talk about this because I know he's got experience on the digital platforms with red cameras and things like that. I know that they're shooting now in the digital realm. Most film shooting is done for, except for boutique style director photographies that want to go that route. But the 4K is not even the highest res now. I just saw to surpass 8K, the new Ursa Mini at 12K resolution. So they're surpassing film to the point where the depth of field that you can get and the creativity with that many pixels to work with, it's fantastic. You can step on it, you can put special effects in there, and pretty soon, I mean, if not already, we're not going to be able to tell what's real and what isn't. It's getting closer every day. It's amazing. But yeah, that technology portion of what we did at Valencia was amazing because we were working with the top-notch equipment that was, Avid editing systems, Airflex cameras. We had a 60-cycle generator, so the lights would maintain a balance, not flicker. And we had massive Airflex lighting and camera truck, grip truck. And more importantly than all that gear was the people that were using it in the field at that time that knew exactly how to run it and do it correctly. And we had like Michael Corbett as an adjunct professor, who was a great person to get us out there, like a drill sergeant, get our hands on everything. I remember building the...
And don't forget the late Dominic Palmieri.
Oh, yeah, definitely Dominic. He was one of a kind. Yeah, he came actually from the old studio system from working with the MGM studios and had just an amazing background to bring to the table. Michelle and I are binge watching Starsky and Hutch right now.
Yeah, we love it.
And I remember Dominic mentioning that he was working on that production.
Right.
And that's just the quintessential 70s style cop show.
Fun.
Yeah.
That all the other shows are like based on.
Yeah, remember he said he was a cameraman on Ben-Hur?
Ben-Hur.
That's cool,
and
too.
that's an epic film.
Yeah.
Right, epic film, right? He was a cameraman on that show.
Yeah, that's right. But
Did he do MASH? Is he the one that did MASH?
Yes, he did MASH. Yes.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah, we were so fortunate and so lucky to have him as our camera teacher. I mean, he was, remember, like, he would use every light in the whole truck.
Give me that pepper. I need a pepper. Right.
We don't have any more lights, Dominic. Oh, we got to get more lights.
Run to Home Depot. Wait, we didn't even have Home Depot, did we? In 95. I don't remember. Scotty's, maybe, I think.
Yeah.
Right.
It was a big one back then. Were you affiliated with them, Scott? No, I'm just kidding.
No.
But listen, a couple years ago, I was fortunate to run into Cameron Romero.
Oh, nice.
In LA. And we hung out, and man, he looks the same, man. He was a good spirit, and and we just, it was, we catch up. It was a good catch up, man. We talked
That's
about all
good
the
to
stuff we
hear.
did back then. So
that's in LA, Los Angeles.
Yeah, it was in LA. Yeah, but I don't think I think he moved out of LA now. I think he's somewhere in Milwaukee somewhere.
So we did his short film, Michelle. It was called Plant Life, and I think it's 15 to 20 minute production, but I'm not exactly sure the full duration. I actually did some special effects on that too, but I don't think they worked out quite as what I was planning to do, but that's why we go to school to learn. That's a good sojourn. But if we go back to like Michael Corbett as the drill sergeant, he was really getting our hands on that gear. And I was gonna say, I remember him helping us with building like the dolly track, how to level that out, putting us through quick drills because of the timing involved. On a production, it's the number of shots you have to get off in a day. It adds up quick what that day cost to put together. And after Night Orchid, I had the fortunate occurrence to be able to get onto Rosewood in the location crew, and that was amazing. I actually filled in for someone that got sick and heard about the opening, and they called me and they said, "Yeah, we need you like right now." And I was like, oh, "Okay, like now?" They said, "Yeah, get in the car and come here now." And so I filled in, and that was amazing. Like 2 days into it, I'm standing at the breakfast cart next to John Singleton, and I'm like, oh my God, maybe I shouldn't have ordered my breakfast burrito before John Singleton. But
all those wonderful stories. I mean, and also just that immediate get up and go. I mean, that's that's what we had to have, that freedom and flexibility. Yes.
Yeah, even John Singleton, like on Rosewood, he showed a little bit of impatience after them trying to get a 20K lamp up into the trees to simulate moonlight, and wondering why they couldn't get a shot off for 2 hours and using the F-bomb. Well, I understand his frustrations, especially after I talked to the unit production manager and found out that film cost $285,000 per day to shoot on location.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a disaster.
It was a lot of money.
Yeah, they waste a lot of money on
Well,
that film.
I think what I thought was the wasteful part, because all of those positions created or those details created a lot of jobs that were necessary. What I saw that was wasteful, that isn't really happening anymore due to technology, was the actual burning down of the homes that were constructed to show like the city in the 1/3 size of the scale of the actual city or town of Rosewood. They weren't facade buildings like you see in the Clint Eastwood westerns. These were real buildings that could have been finished out and like given to
Wow.
people, maybe as reparations or something like that.
Mhm.
But back then, they didn't really trust in the technology to do that, so they burn it down. And on the effect on camera was stunning. Like it's more real than the computers were going to give them. But for me, when I saw that amount of time into the building of that, and then just the burning of it away, thinking about where those resources could have gone, for me, that was kind of a turning point. So I understand the word wasteful, but there was a lot of positivity about that film, bringing those jobs to the area at the time, and it was cool to be a part of that and work at the various state parks and whatnot, to get that feel of Florida, right? Like Night Orchid has, which not too many other places in the country have.
Yeah.
That Spanish moss, the oranges, the flat, long shots where you can barely get a hill going 20 miles away. But
Great
what
use of the golden hour on that, plantation and everything is incredible.
it is, and I was going to ask you guys, like, what were your takeaways about working on Night Orchid specifically? Like, what was the most important thing you took away? Because there was a couple for me, and but I'll wait. I've been kind of hogging the camera.
Personally, I love the lighting. I love working on the lighting and the way things looked, that gothic feel of the film, and I think it looks great. That's why I'm happy to have the copy. And
Yay.
It does look great.
I felt like we were so lucky to
Mhm.
be able to make a feature film with film,
Yes.
not video.
Yeah.
Because
35, yeah.
right, we shot it. We shot it with film, and as you notice, a few years later, after that, film it just went away.
They still have, yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Panavision. Yes. Mhm.
Still have it.
Exactly. So I think that experience itself, it's something that nobody can take it away from us. We can always look back and say, yeah, we shot film. What are you guys shooting these days?
On their cell
But I have
phone, shooting on their-
I wonder, do you guys feel like today could any student, like any class, like the class at the Valencia Film School today, could they accomplish what we accomplished back then today?
With
Not the way we did it.
With what we had.
Not
Yeah.
20
Right, with what we had to work with, and compare what we had to work with versus what they have today. Could they do a better job?
I think that the style of shooting has changed. Like Deanna, you've worked on productions for quite a few years. Weren't you more in the health and fitness side, and then also in the makeup side as well?
I'm a massage therapist now, but back then I did makeup and the audio for a little bit. But yeah, I'm pretty sure they're a lot more efficient these days, and they're probably getting it done a lot quicker. They don't have all that set up, and I don't know. It's been a while since I've been in the film industry. I did,
I see.
I worked in Atlanta with you, right? You worked in Atlanta with me for a little bit. Didn't I run into you, John, on?
Yes, I was in Atlanta. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I remember that.
Mm-hmm. And
Yes.
then, so yeah, I did makeup for like weddings and stuff after that, and after I moved back, but I kind of didn't go back in the film industry when I came back to Florida.
I see.
I guess for me, film is weddings. Actually, I had a wedding today, and there's film all over. People are always shooting things. And
Aw.
I'm getting all my sound worked out and making sure that, all right, you can shoot over here. This is the better spot and things. So it's interesting how
Yeah.
Yeah, because you
Use
understand the
every gift you
composition,
get.
and
Yeah.
that's right.
Universal Studios, and then I went on to be an esthetician and massage therapist. But I do
Ah,
make for Disney.
Jean did some Star Wars work, and I think we can talk about that going into the efficiency of shooting, because with the digital cameras, they don't have that huge expense of the film.
Mm-hmm.
So they can literally keep those things running.
Right.
And those
Exactly.
Right.
actors
Star
can-
Wars. Star Wars was great. I was fortunate to build the LED screen that goes like that replaced the green screen, and it's
Nice.
all video. It was like 50,000 panels of LED screens, and we had to build a huge wall, like a huge wall.
What was that for?
For Star Wars, the what's
Was
the
it the Rise of Skywalker?
No. It's the one with the guy with the cape, with the mask.
Well, the Mandalorian. Then. You're talking about the Mandalorian? Because
yes.
The Mandalorian is using that exact technology right now.
Yes.
Where they actually, the actors feel so much more involved because they can look around and it's right around them. Everything.
Yeah, it was incredible. I got some pictures. I'm gonna share some pictures with you guys later on the Valencia site.
It's
the movies, just to be clear, it's with actual theme park part of it.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it was really cool, to see, like the Lucas, films crew, so many computers. I've never seen so many computers in my life. It was a huge warehouse in Manhattan Beach, and it was incredible, man. I've seen so many Alexa cameras. I mean, George, what's his name? James Cameron came to our set, and he was blown away. He was like, "You guys did all this? I don't have to shoot green screen anymore. I can just put the screen behind
It's
it."
Augmented reality. That's right. And with the CLED technology, the high res like 4K panels that are available now,
right?
You can't even tell that they're standing in front of an electronic screen. It's amazing. As long as that photography is done right, it's a perfect match. I mean, it is a higher res than what our eyes are really able to see.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it's as a matter of fact, there's a company I'm associated with, and they have a huge wall, LED wall that they use as a set. And it's a great way to shoot green screen. It's a great way to shoot any type of presentation or music videos, whatever image, whatever you're trying to superimpose. Instead of it, well, the good thing about it, you can put the actual image that you want on a green screen behind on the screens. So you can see, it felt like you're on set. Like I couldn't believe with the Star Wars, they had desert sets with used machine. It was all on the screen. Like you felt like you was there. You see the actor walking towards the screen. It's like they go into the world. It was amazing.
This will definitely become more of the norm in production. And another thing that'll start happening, like the company I work for now, I'm really fortunate to be involved with, is very on the cutting edge of the innovation part of bringing the augmented reality into studio work and things like that, and plan on building the largest AR studio in the country right now. So what they're doing is having multiple AR studios, and the plan is for the actors, in this case it would be more like corporate presenters and stand-up talent, collaborating on the same stage, but it's a VR stage, and the actors or the presenters are still working together, collaborating from different locations, but presenting from the same stage. And
wow.
pretty cutting edge stuff. Yeah, so really fortunate to see the behind the scenes and hear about how this is culminating and taking place. But because of these times, we have to look for ways to work and work around the health crisis and whatnot. So the social distancing, it only works so well, but when an actor's face is what sells the scene and the emotion, now we're talking about a different type of filmmaking completely. Just like singers, they have masks for singers now that have a different construction on them, so they can project further out before it's blocked, so it's not a muffled sound. So their innovation is also in the lo-fi. It's not necessarily in all the technology side of how this is all going to culminate and bring us back into live events, which is really the field that I'm in. And it took a massive blow, decimated, and really we're praying for them every day. Event workers are in trouble right now, and so we are looking at how to continue. And I think the big players have already been doing this, and now it's another way to move forward and do it safely and stay healthy. And
yeah, I think of also that I had a great opportunity during the year when we were in film school. I had a nice paid internship through VCC with Orlando Magic, and I was one of the grips for the Jumbotron camera. So
Yeah,
it was
too.
a great, easy job. It was fantastic. I was
I
sitting
was
right by
on
the
that with you
cheerleaders.
guys. That's right.
Huh?
I was on that with you guys as
Yeah,
well.
because we rotated. We weren't always on all the home games, but it was great because you showed the pass, and I'm like, it reminded me. We also have finals and playoff press passes from that year because the Magic went to the finals.
Pardon me.
You got it. Yeah, the orange one, the big orange. Yeah. So it was funny that we were having our reunion tonight, and of course the Magic get knocked out of the playoffs today. So.
Oh wow.
Aw.
Wow.
So, oh, you got your box of press passes and things, and crew badges there and things.
What did I miss?
I was just saying it was ironic that today we're having our little reunion, and the Magic get knocked out of the playoffs today, earlier today.
Yeah, that was a special time for the Magic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes, that orange one. Yeah, that's awesome. So you probably were rotating because we had about, I guess, 6 or 8 people, and there was 2 of us each game, I guess. And
That's
I
right.
remember we would just make sure that when the cameraman went out there to either video the dancers or whatever it may be, that they had enough of the cord. We set everything up, and it was a great experience.
The feeder. That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I
we
remember
used
one
to do
time.
that. Ralph set this up for us.
He
I
did.
remember.
That was Ralph.
Yeah.
It was.
And Phil was the producer.
Yes.
Phil's uncle.
Yeah. So
That
it
was
a
our
great
connection
experience
to them. You know,
got
Scott,
paid
now
for
that's all wireless now.
Oh,
Yeah.
so there's no more of that job. It's the best seats in the house, right behind the basket, right there.
It was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
I remember one
Almost
time
so
running
much
out there,
fun.
making sure the cord was there, and all of a sudden I heard a big blam, and I turned around and I tripped Stuff, and he got all Stuff
the
the Magic
mascot.
Dragon. He got up and started ripping with the cord and flapping it up and down. And
He was mad at you.
Right.
Oh, that's
Hey
funny.
guys, I remember one night in Night Orchid. Deanna, I don't know if you remember. We had a one day. It was a long day. It was like a 20-hour days, right?
I remember that.
And I fell asleep on the floor.
I think many of us did.
At the end of the night, everybody can hear somebody snoring. And it's me. I'm like sleep. Like 20 hours later, I'm like no energy. I'm done.
It was exhausting. It was so much
Yeah.
fun.
And then, of
It
course, the
is.
very famous strike.
Yes, I
Oh yeah.
That's right. So I think like technically what happened was
You graduated.
the school year was over and the shoot was still going on. So the crew assembled and said, "Hey, now we're working because we're no longer in school." And there was a strike, and a strike that the crew won.
Right.
So
Well, a little update.
anything, so I'm not sure how we won.
say it again.
We
Right.
didn't get paid or anything. So how
No.
did we win?
I thought we did. I thought we got a
Did
little
we-
something. Wasn't it get something little, was passed our way?
I think there was a core crew that got a little something,
Oh,
but
Yeah.
Okay.
aren't
It
sure.
wasn't a lot, but it was like, yeah.
Right.
it's
Hey,
just
guys.
like I said, it's just amazing it got pulled off the way we did. But I do remember like burger runs to Checkers for like I was on a burger run with Jason Fox for like Deanna, you might have been involved with that one too. It was like 120 burgers or
Oh
something
my
one night.
goodness.
And the
Love
Checkers people were
Checkers
like,
burgers and fries. They don't have it out here in California.
yeah, that's right. In and Out is not quite Checkers.
Yeah.
But it was just, yeah, we called them ahead. We're like, can you handle this? And they're like, yeah, we got you. So we
Nice.
all ate pretty well that night.
That's so
How about the
funny.
premiere at the Enzion? Was anybody there for that experience?
That's when
Yeah.
That's when I first saw the film. I remember it being like, wow, this is a professional film. And it's, you know,
Yeah.
Tom Sotaro, I think, was still affiliated with the Enzian at that time, who worked with us in the film class and on other
Right.
projects. Great guy. I know he was writing some shorts. I'd love to get back in touch with him because he had a short in the can that he had written that I thought would just be amazing to keep pursuing and do something with. So, but I hope we get back in touch with Tom soon.
Are you not in touch with him? I think he's on my Instagram.
Is he on Instagram? Okay, maybe he got tired of Zuckerberg.
He got off.
Yeah,
Facebook.
Facebook. Yeah, I haven't seen him in ages on Facebook, but maybe Instagram.
Okay, I'll check him out there because I know that he was active there for a while, and he might be protesting, boycotting Facebook, which I totally understand. The only reason I'm on there is just to stay in touch with you guys and like family, and it's not to buy things from their ads. That's for sure. So
I like keeping in touch with everyone through Facebook. I don't, you know, you gotta scroll past the drama and look for the good things. It's like everything.
Yeah.
That's right. Michelle and I reunited through Facebook.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
We did.
You're a teacher, Michelle?
Yeah, I teach special needs children.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, I love it. I'm so thankful. Thanks, guys.
Hey guys, who remembers Cameron's short film? Remember that? Cameron Romero's short films?
Which one?
Are you talking about Plant Life?
Yeah, Plant Life. Yeah.
Yeah. I have some making of footage that we'll watch during the intermission before we start the movie.
Good. Yeah, and that actually has What's the Frequency Kenneth on it, right?
That's right.
It actually got you and REM actually said you shouldn't be playing it, so they put something right because I guess why it got knocked off of YouTube.
Yeah, there's like an algorithm that they check the music beds with to make sure you're not using it for something you shouldn't.
Yeah.
And so I think I did another one with a different music bed, and then I posted it at a different site or something.
Yeah, it was fun.
That. But yeah, it's definitely a good one, and it was cool to see all that. Like, I gotta say, Deanna, like, when Jeff and you guys like put together the in-person reunion, and Jeff got me, Busolato got me onto the FaceTime with you guys.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
It was great. It was a really good night. I really had fun that night.
I felt really like included, being 2,500 miles away. So that was really cool.
Too, so he was just here to visit. Do you see anybody that moved to California? Do you keep in touch?
I haven't seen too many people because where we reside is in the Monterey area. So we're in the Central California area, which is between LA and San Francisco. So most of my work has been in the Bay Area, not too much down south. So we haven't really had a chance to, connect. But I'd like to do that here electronically while we're in the shelter-in-place order here in California. But soon, I think we'll be back out. Like there's flea markets going on with social distancing. Michelle and I hit an organic market a couple weekends ago, and it was pretty good for the most part in the first part of the thing. But then we noticed more people were showing up. Social distancing wasn't quite being enforced or followed, and so we got what we wanted and we got out of there. So I think it's just going to be a matter of time. Like people are going to go back to ways maybe that they're used to, and it's just going to take being vigilant about, hey, we need to be safe, and we're not just looking out for ourselves, we're looking out for each other, that kind of thing. And I think that's what's going to get us through this right now.
At least you had your
When do you guys think we're going to get back to normal?
Well, Jean, what I'm hearing on my end is probably first quarter for events. So for live events industry, we got a little while to go, probably another 4 or 5 months. And it has a lot to do with, I know, man. And it has a lot to do with confidence factors. Like if you build it, will they come? There's a couple of factors that are taking place, like the fear of going out versus the fear of missing out, right? And then being safe and planning ahead, and who is making sure that that's being enforced? Who's responsible for the health issues on site? That's the things that are still being worked out in the background. Industry just came out with like a 27-page document that outlines how studios can reopen safely and get back to business. But it's just a matter of, like I said, there's a confidence level of people getting back to business too. So it's just going to be evolving, and getting this this online forum that we're using right now is really where it's going. And we're doing shows.
I had so many shows. I had so many shows canceled because of COVID-19. So, I'm talking about $75,000 worth of shows.
Guess what, guys? We got Ryan Sullivan joining us, but John, well, let's talk later because I got some stuff to suggest to you about getting back into the mix real quick. But let's get Ryan into this call. It's so good to see him here. Ryan. We see your head. Oh, you're muted. You came in muted.
I've become an omnipotent being in the last 5 years.
All knowing, all seeing.
Apologies for my delay.
It's great to see you, Ryan. Thanks for coming on board and joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Thanks for organizing. This is great.
You're absolutely welcome. And really thank Deanna, because Deanna's the one that said, hey, let's get off our duffs and do something here.
I love it.
It was all you. I did nothing. Just furloughed and have nothing better to do.
And Ryan, just so you know, this vivacious redhead that's joining us from that nursery nursery school room is my wife, Michelle.
I love it. Nice
Hello.
to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
She was blown away to hear about our experience at Valencia and what we had available to us with the professional professors coming in, the adjuncts, getting our hands on the equipment, talking about full production of a feature film, PSAs, television work.
It was pretty impressive. It was fun. It was a good time.
Absolutely. And I know like you went on to do a lot of like work outside of there with your like Panavision credentials. Is that right?
I worked at Panavision right out of film school. Went to UCF film school after Valencia. And then I moved to New York pretty much right after that. And started doing whatever I could. I was a camera assistant on a couple of shorts. I did some loading for commercials, stuff like that. And then slotted in doing PA work for corporate videos. Did that for a couple of years, then started producing corporate videos. And then the guy that ran the video department took me aside one day. He's like, why don't we just do this for ourselves? And we opened our own shop in 2005. And I've been cranking out shitty corporate videos since then.
I'm on that corporate side. I feel you, Ryan. But going back to shorts, I want to mention that the best short that ever came out of that school has to be Viva Pinata.
Oh my God, flawless, right?
Viva
I didn't direct it,
Pinata?
but I loved it. Yeah.
Viva Pinata, fantastic work.
Oh, you have to show that to me later.
Yes,
I don't know. Somebody's got to have a copy of that. I don't.
We'll get Jason Fox involved. I think he might still have a copy of that. He was also on we were talking about our internship at the Magic, and Jason was one of the interns over there with us. But it's so great to have you, Ryan. We were talking about how the industry is kind of evolving and getting people back to work, because John had a question about like, when are we getting back to work? So I know the company that I'm working with right now, we are planning on building like the largest augmented reality production studio in the country right now.
Yeah.
And that seems to be where this is going. And I wonder what kind of inside info, what you've heard with your ear to the ground, what's going on in New York.
Honestly, we have never been busier than we are right now, but the quality is totally in the shitter. So like we used to like send out the fanciest cameras and crews and try and sculpt the light and blah, blah, blah. Now it's like, yeah, we're going to do Zoom records.
Yeah.
We have no control out of these people's internet connections. And then you're going to edit it with PowerPoint.
Yeah.
I'm like,
so you're shooting, in that respect, you're shooting for the lowest common denominator. And
That's
you're sending out like the fixed camera lens, and you're just putting it up on a tripod, and you're saying,
no, it's not even that. It's we
ring
send
light.
out these kits. You'll see the blue screen behind me here. It's
Yeah.
a kit that's been sent all over the world.
Yep.
To do. So right now we're doing a bunch of videos for Dell Technologies, Congressional Black Caucus Foundation, Ernst & Young, and they're all getting kits like this with little shitty LED lights and a microphone and just.
If you need more, Ryan.
People, and they open the box, they're like, what is all this shit? I don't know
Right.
What
If
does
you
the
need
blue
more-
screen do?
It's just so you can put whatever background you want for these people. And then our client
okay.
put the video and they're like, there's a little bit of a halo. I'm like, we're shooting with a webcam. It wasn't designed for this.
Yeah, they're not shooting in like a 4K format in front of like a CLED LED screen.
Right.
You know, we were just talking about that like with the Star Wars production. The company I work for, Ryan, we have 140 kids right now that are all over the country and some actually around the world.
Yeah.
And tracking those that became its own division.
Yeah. Oh, it's unbelievable. We just did a job for AIDS Foundation, AIDS 2020. So as you can imagine, we're sending these kits to Uganda and Malawi, and I'm like, these are never gonna get there. There's
Or ever come back.
And we're relying on their internet connection. I'm like, this is a fail. Oh, this is the best one. This woman was
Just send him a MiFi device.
Yeah, she was a sign language, and this is what we got back.
Just doing the robot.
Aw.
Yeah, I'm like,
Oh,
this
it's
is
too slow.
a disaster.
Yeah, pre-production, like pre-records are going to be the way to get around all that. Like we use OBS for that.
Yeah.
Like
But we
set up-
use a technology now called OpenReel. It's hellaciously expensive, but it's basically based on Apple devices. So you send these people an iPhone, and while you're reliant on their internet connection to direct them and to set up the shot, when you actually record, it's recording to the iPhone and then uploads those files. So you can potentially get 4K anywhere in the world.
That's a great idea.
Wow, that's
Mhm.
cool.
It's not cheap, but it's, in theory, the best solution.
And the phone resolutions are like really good now
It looks
for such
pretty
a small
great.
chip.
Yeah.
They've come a long way. I mean, like back in the day, I carry around my like high 8 camera. So like, hey, that guy with the camera is like a lurker, you know. But everyone does it now. It's normal. Like I'd be like, hey, I want to capture what I can because this is a fleeting moment,
Yeah.
you know. And I was also using that gear to produce my own stuff. So I'm like, hey, you know, might as well do some behind the scenes, and ended up doing some behind the scenes like in Scranton for the Wet Hot American Summer on the production of that. So it was funny because I showed up there to install a video system for the camp to do their own videos and teach them how to do it. And the film crew was there at the same time. And I showed up at the office and they're like, okay, what position are you? They thought I was on the film crew. Of course, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm like, oh, like what position do you have open?
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Sign me up.
But it was pretty cool to see that one going down, and from that perspective, and then meet up with their making of crew and join them with the gear that I had brought. And we started putting like little promo videos together for their like Friday night. They call them Friday night flicks, and they would show the movies to the campers on Fridays. And so we shot some stuff with like Janine Garofalo and Paul Rudd and Chris Maloney was in that. So it was pretty cool to have the
Molly
have that
Shannon.
experience.
She's
She
one of my
was-
favorite
Hey
comedians.
guys,
She was
man.
very funny.
I
Jean's
can't
back.
hear anybody no more now.
Oh no.
What happened?
I think Jean's on a phone.
Everyone's faces. This is great.
There you go.
So, hey Ryan,
Yes, sir.
have you talked or seen Sean Gilbert anytime lately?
Not for literally decades. No. I mean,
Wow.
I follow him on Facebook and I see that he does nothing but make babies. But besides that,
Right.
no, I haven't seen him.
That's the
He has
Irish
the
in him.
football team
Yeah.
babies.
He's got a fleet of children.
Right. I know you
Sean-
guys were tight back then, back in the days.
Sean's done
Indeed,
very
yeah.
well. Absolutely. He's been
I think
busy.
he's a big deal camera guy down in Miami.
Yeah, he is in Miami. Yeah.
Does a lot of underwater, like specializes in underwater stuff.
Right.
All like Pirates of the Caribbean, and I think he did all that sort of stuff.
I remember when
Right.
he was doing that and doing the Cine Videotech. I think he went to work for them, didn't he?
Yeah,
And
that's
that kind of opened a lot of doors
indeed.
the-
Yeah,
with the
Yeah.
producers down that
everybody
way.
that comes through there. Yeah.
There was a lot going on in Florida for a while, and then it was like, oh my God, Vancouver is crushing us with the
Do you mean
tax.
Hollywood? Hollywood East? Do you mean
Yeah.
Hollywood?
That's what it was
Siberia.
in 1995.
It
Yeah.
was indeed.
It
Any
did-
minute now.
It did seem like the LA people that would come out were kind of like treating it like it was like being sent to Siberia.
Yeah.
Like, what did I do wrong? Why am I here? Why
Yeah.
can't I be in LA? It's
Yeah.
like, well, look where you are. This is a pretty unique place. Take advantage of it. Like there was like, what was there? Like Superboy, Swamp Thing, Tarzan. I think there was
I
the
feel like it never got beyond
Parenthood
the
show.
location, though. It seemed like it was always marred with being a location.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey guys, I got an idea. Wouldn't it be
What's that?
crazy? Wouldn't it be crazy if we go back to Valencia Community College Film School and we put together a film dedicated to Ralph? You know, remember his favorite film, the Woodstock? Remember the Woodstock film he did?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
What if we do like a new version of that? You
We'll
know,
have to talk about that.
in the memory of Ralph. You know, we do like a new version, find the news groups, you know, and then trying to put together a Woodstock and shoot a movie around it.
Treat
I don't know.
yourself. The Ralph Clemente story. Yes.
Right, the Ralph Clemente story. There you go.
Well, there was definitely a lot of takeaways.
anything about the film school? Is it still doing well and cranking out films?
I imagine that from the website, you could tell they kind of went digital, Ryan, like to the Cine Reds and all that, shooting in higher res digital formats. But I imagine right now, with the
nobody's doing
health
anything.
crisis, yeah, they're probably not in
They
sessions.
did graduate their class of 2020, but I don't know about what's the incomers. I don't know.
Yeah.
Jason Boyette, I don't know if he's still there, but he taught at Full Sail for a long time.
Oh, cool.
I mean, he taught this 16 millimeter program for years, and I think that's been changed to digital now, as you would
makes
imagine.
Sense.
Yeah.
So film is definitely dead, right?
It sure feels that way.
It's boutique for sure. Like, wasn't Hateful Eight still shot on what was it, 70 or 65?
It was 70.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty
65, yeah.
boutique and expensive, very expensive now to pull anything off like that.
So I'm in Maplewood, New Jersey now, and literally my neighbor next door did a documentary. He was the camera guy on a documentary with Keanu Reeves was the director, I think, called I have no idea what it's called, but it was talking to all the top DPs and directors about film and digital and how that transition is. And of course, a lot of people don't want to go to film, and a lot of people don't have a choice. It's like, yeah, you can't afford film anymore. You're shooting digital.
Yeah. Well,
exactly.
I tell you what, I got a movie on Amazon Prime, my first feature. I did it in 2014, and lucky enough, it won an African Oscar for Best Screenplay.
That's so cool.
Awesome. Congratulations.
John, that's awesome.
Thank you.
Congrats, man.
Thank you.
What's it called?
It's called Off Sentimental Value. It's on Amazon Prime. And,
I have to watch that.
Yeah, I have a couple
I'll write it
celebrity
down.
actors in it. Yeah, I had this guy named Malik Yoba, and then Tiny Lister. I don't know if you remember Friday, the Big Blue.
Yeah.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
Where did you guys shoot that at?
We shot it in Nashville. And then
that's cool.
We used some of the stock footage from Africa to do the Africa parts. But it's that experience was an interesting experience. We shot it in 9 days.
Wow.
Picture 9 days.
9 days.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah, with a red
On your
camera.
crew.
Well, that's what we're talking about, the Reds, because you can be more
it was
efficient. You can
brutal.
leave it running, so you don't have to
right.
cut as much. You just keep going. The actors can freestyle, get it more realistic.
Right.
It's a pretty cool way to let the actors explore that role.
I got a special story for you guys. Remember the movie The Blair Witch Project?
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Well, one of the directors was a good friend of mine. Okay? And the reason I'm sharing this story with you guys, because I want to know if I'm wrong. The director of Blair Witch, one of the directors of Blair Witch Project was a friend of mine. And I remember I was doing a corporate gig, right, as a cameraman. And at the time, that director was about to be homeless.
Wow.
Okay? This is like a few months before Blair Witch. And I remember he was struggling, so, while I was doing this corporate gig, they're looking for an editor. And he was an editor at the time. And I said, I called him up. I said, I know a guy. And so, send him up. So I called him up, and he came in to do the job. He made $3,500 off the job. This is one of the guys from Blair Witch Project, right?
Yeah.
So I saved his life, basically, right?
Well, that's how it works. It's a word of mouth industry for sure, John. And the more that things open up, we can talk to. I know right before this thing hit, I was working with you to get you in the car shows down here my way or up here my way from where you're at. And unfortunately, it's the first time in 61 years that they had to cancel that event, which is a major blow to this area, but also just to events in general. But, it's all about safety, and I agree that we have to do that. But we do need to find ways to move forward. And Ryan, we were talking about that. Mark Atkins sent us a clip. He's actually on location right now shooting 2 films for Ion. And so basically they're working, different
On
distances.
location, shooting 2 films.
I know.
Yeah,
Two-
concurrently.
That guy's got it
Concurrently.
made.
Concurrently, yeah.
He's been schmoozing.
I'm shooting a film right now, actually.
But yeah, they're actually in production for these 2 like TV movies. And in the clip that he sent us that we'll take a look at when we switch over to webinar is you can see that they're wearing their mask on set or on location.
Brutal.
And, so they're doing it and making it work. I'm sure there's other protocols and guidelines they have to follow, like gear. There's like GBAC certifications with like different sprays, and Ecolab has different, virus killers and stuff like that have to
We
be
have been
used.
approached a number of times to shoot in a studio, and we put a set medic on in the budget. We're like, you want us to go on? You're going to have somebody there that knows the ins and outs of this and is going to make sure everybody has the right mask on, whatever. I'm like, I'm not going into an enclosed space with some producer who's going to be smoking a cigar and coughing in my face. Forget it.
Well, let's definitely connect again, Ryan, about this, because we're putting in a studio in the San Jose market, and I'm sure that you'll have some E&Y people over there that are going to need to come to a place that we can give them an upgraded look. We're going to have a 2.6 pixel LED wall and green screen.
Nice.
Full set, the whole deal. So yeah, let's stay in touch about this. Definitely make it
Shot
work.
2 days ago in Hayward, California.
That's where Michelle and I used to live in Hayward.
Yeah, we did. They called it Hayward.
That's cool. Yeah, and our warehouse is in Milpitas, which is right down the street from there. And Michelle and I reside in the Central Coast area, which is about an hour and 20, hour and 15 from San Jose.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So
Hey, does anybody remember the company that financed Night Orchid?
way down east was the production company.
And
I've been doing my homework.
Where were they located out of?
I think Houston. I think Coley, Franson, and those guys were like Texas investors, from what I remember.
I was just gonna say, John, like that was nice that you did that for your friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what the crazy thing is? Most of the story is 20 years later, I run into him again for a meeting, and all he did was bought me lunch, dinner. I'm like, I saved your life 20 years ago. You become a millionaire, and all you can do is buy me a cheesecake. Really?
Ooh, cheesecake. Was it Cheesecake Factory?
Right, Cheesecake Factory.
Oh my gosh, I love Cheesecake Factory.
Said, man, are you working? You need any help? I know some people, you know what I mean? Like,
at least it wasn't McDonald's.
What I did for him, I did out of love. You know what I mean? I didn't expect anything, But hey, you know what I mean? I help you out, and then you made some money. You're not homeless anymore. You made a movie. The movie blew up. 20 years later, you give me a cheesecake?
well, hey, we're going to go into the webinar soon, but I want to make sure that everyone knows that the documentary that's on Netflix right now called Life After Flash, about the production of Flash Gordon, is amazing. Definitely something to note and watch. It's awesome. It's not just about Sam J. Jones and his role. It's about the whole making of that film. And you'll find out the cool things. I don't want to spill the beans on too much of it, but there was supposed to be 3 of them. So it was going to be another trilogy type series, to kind of compete with the Star Wars and go down that road, but so just so uplifting to watch the way that he got beaten down and come back up, and in the way that the handmade costumes and the sets, and just how this is an art form that what evolved into what we did, and now it's going to digital. It all came from practical ways to do this, practical effects, practical camera moves. Everything had to be done for real. It had to be done in person.
You gotta love that Christopher Nolan is embracing that practical effects and the importance of that and keeping that alive. Which is so good to hear.
Yeah, you can certainly tell on screen. Yeah.
Who's Christopher Nolan?
The director.
I'm sorry, not a film major.
He made Inception and a few of the Dark Knight movies and the Batman Returns.
Thanks, guys.
Tenet's the new one that's coming out in the beginning of September, I guess. So. Yeah,
a fantastic filmmaker. Really looking forward to that one, actually. And then also, I just want to give a shout out, rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman. My God.
Yeah, so
young man.
Mm.
And like 2020, we're losing a lot of good people, so we just got to make it through this year. I think got to keep our heads up and stay positive. There, you know, a lot of factors working against us all right now.
I should tell you guys that Mike Foley's editing for us right now, like literally right now.
Is he? Oh, that's
Hey,
great,
give
Mike
us-
Foley.
Give him our best.
In the
I
building
will
with
indeed.
you?
The what? Sorry?
Is he in the building with you?
No,
Right.
sadly, this is my basement.
Is he in New
This is
York?
my new office. We gave up our New York City office, and now I'm working from home. But he's up in Sydney, New York, working for us.
That's cool. So Foley, I was going to tell a story if Brahim joined us, but he didn't join us. But he was on the RSVP. So I remember when I was doing the prop wrangling for special effects, and we had the IMI Desert Eagle, which is a giant gun, right? The chrome gun that the main character, I think it was Bert, used it on screen.
Mhm.
Big heavy sucker, right? And I'm like, well, you know, we had blinks for it, but never put them in the gun until we were on set, ready to shoot, that type of thing. But Brahim's like, let me see these, or let me see that. And I said, okay, well, the first thing I'm going to tell you right now is do not point it at anyone. Do not.
I remember that. I remember this.
You
Yeah.
remember this?
Yeah.
And the first thing he does is point it at Foley.
Oh no.
And Foley's like, and he punched Brahim so hard in his arm.
Yeah, he was pissed.
He's like, hey! I'm like, give me that back, you.
The one thing I said not to do.
Exactly. But it's so awesome to have everyone here, and I really appreciate everyone coming in. And oh, you know what? Let's let Rachel Carter in. Rachel Carter is here.
Hey, Joe.
There better be a video. Who's test one?
That's
just open.
my other laptop over here, so I can see what's going on the opposite end
Nice.
on the feed.
I love living in California, guys. California has been good to me. Check out the
It's so
view.
bright
It
there.
looks
Check
great,
out the
John.
view.
Gorgeous.
Check out the
Oh,
view.
God.
That's awesome.
Okay, so I think what we'll do at this point is I want to thank everybody for coming here and sharing your stories and talking with us and being a part of this online, part one of the reunion for Night Orchid 25th anniversary.
Haley,
it's
you
amazing.
did better than Josh Gad. This was reunited apart, man.
Hey.
Rachel.
Oh.
Well, hey, we're not going anywhere. Rachel Carter's here. Let's talk with Rachel for a little bit.
Rachel, how you doing?
I'm good. Oh my gosh, so many faces. I love it. Mwah.
It is good to have you
you.
here. Thank you so much for joining us. I don't know, we interacted briefly in Valencia, but I'm Kelly, and I did the special effects over for Night Orchid management, and my beautiful wife, Michelle, is joining us here with the red hair. She wasn't involved with the production,
Hi.
but she is in education, and she was blown away by what we did at Valencia, so wanted to be a part of the
Awesome.
call and talk to us about it.
Well, my
And-
parents are teachers, retired teachers, so education.
Aw,
Well done.
yay.
I got to tell you, my insomnia theater this morning was Pitchfork.
Oh,
That was amazing. Very creepy work. I
Thank
have
you.
to commend you for that. You must have dug deep.
not my teeth.
I noticed that too. The appliance was good effects work for sure.
Right.
But I have to tell you, that was like watching Deliverance meets Ma meets Hostel meets Saw.
Wow.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Well, and you never know. Mom might live. So it's a
hope so.
trilogy. So
Oh,
Mom
really? We
might
just watched that.
watch
Like,
that, you know.
That would be cool because like the creature like doesn't quite carry itself.
Yeah,
Like you have to be there to support that creature.
Mhm.
I think so.
I think so.
But
I'd have
thanks-
fun. I'd have a lot of fun playing Ma again. I think, for sure.
Yeah, and I know that you're from is it Alabama?
Originally from Alabama, but I'm actually living in Michigan now. So I lived in New York for 7 years. I went from Florida to New York and then ended up in Michigan, but I'm originally from Alabama.
And there's that whole component of the character that's like you city folk, like is there any of that like from reality that you're bringing in to
Oh
motivate you?
yeah, because I mean, I left home at 18. So every time I'd go back home, and it was really funny because if I ever dated anybody that was a Yankee, they were sort of like Yankee boy, and he brought the Yankee boy home, and so yeah, there was definitely pulling from a little bit of the rural Alabama.
And you have a history in horror. Like I know you were in Jacko, right?
Jacko, Yeah.
And that's Fred Olin Ray, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Ryan was in the camera crew, right?
Yeah.
Indeed,
That's
yes.
right.
Magical
Jacko.
time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Linnea Quigley was in that.
Yeah, she was. We played sisters, so.
She's like the B movie queen, so that's pretty.
Yeah.
Screen
time.
queen.
Yeah,
That's
I
pretty
never,
cool.
I never made it to B movie queen status, but I mean, at least I got to star in one with a B movie queen, so pretty happy about that.
That had to be a great experience. What we've been talking about, Rachel, is how like technology is going to help the acting side, like people to collaborate from different areas, different locations, bring them together in like virtual sets and augmented realities. And I wondered if you have anything that's come your way or you've heard anything about this in your world.
Well, you know, I mean, I'm not as immersed in it as I used to be when I lived in New York. But in my world here, I'm really involved with the theater in the city that I'm just south of, Grand Rapids. So we've been doing some stuff online, and a lot of it is just actors performing with each other online and meeting and doing monologues, which has been really teaching for a group over in Lansing. So we're starting up again in the fall. So I think that's what I'm seeing a lot of, is some of these acting programs too that are trying to figure out ways, how do we move forward when we can't meet in person, and how do we do this online? And in some ways it works really well because a lot of auditions are done on camera via your computer. I mean, you film them, you submit them. So that's kind of what I'm seeing, at least from my end, in terms of like teaching and still trying to stay active. And because I'm not as involved in, say, film work. I do a lot of theater locally. And then I dabble in film when something comes my way. So, yeah, so I mean, I actually look forward to it because I with all of this opportunity, to me, it's a way to kind of, I don't know, see what's out there. So I've actually been sort of going, maybe I should get back out there a little bit more because more people are doing stuff online, which is cool.
Well, let me ask you this about, go back to Pitchfork. Was the majority of that shot digitally?
No, it was actually shot here in Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
So it was actually somebody that I had worked with in New York, and he had a family farm here. His parents had a farm, so it was a great location because basically he could shoot it in order, and they all stayed on the family farm. And even the cabin where my character lives, his family owns cabins on the lake, on this lake. So we actually could stay really separate. And yeah, so he flew everybody in. I happened to live here, but he flew, some of the actors were from LA, some were from Florida, some were from New York. But he and I had worked together in New York.
And the technique on set, was it just cameras roll pretty much the whole time?
No, I mean, we did rehearse a little bit. The guy that played Pitchfork stayed in character. So he did a lot of really creepy stuff. Like the Mon Pa and the Pitchfork character, we stayed away from the rest of the cast. And so we never interacted or talked to them at all. And so Pitchfork actually, he slept and stayed kind of out in a shed, his choice.
Wow.
And
he was
the director actually treated him like a dog. So
oh my God.
The director would say, Pitchfork come, Pitchfork sit, Pitchfork stay.
I'm uncomfortable even talking about this.
Yeah, so
it was animalistic for sure.
It was very so yeah, that was really interesting to kind of witness and be a part of. And so he would actually sneak into the house at night and like do things to the other cast and freak them out. And then of course you're staying out in the middle of nowhere because Clare, Michigan is in the middle of the state and there's like nothing. And there's a big Amish community. So you would be filming and you would like look over and like on the edge of the woods, there would be all the Amish that would be just standing there watching, which was really that was creepier than the movie.
Right.
I mean, it was just, I love Amish, don't get me wrong. It's just that they were very, it was just kind of weird how they were just, and it was like 2 a.m. because we were shooting at night.
Well, even the character that's in the film that's Amish, like he doesn't even have any dialogue. And that makes him like creepier. Like he's just like looking the whole time, like.
Yeah, and they don't talk. They don't interact very much, or talk
That's
very
right.
much. And with cultures, they'll watch, but they don't really interact. So,
If we
But
go
no,
back
we
to,
didn't really roll. The director was really specific about things that he wanted. So,
I see. So
yeah.
clapboard, the whole traditional
Mm-hmm.
shooting style. That's cool.
Mhm.
Like Night Orchid. So we go back to that. We shot 35 millimeter Panavision, traditional style, limited on time. Film cost a bundle to go, so you couldn't keep those cameras rolling. So that's where the origin of that question came from, because we were talking about how the maybe on the artistic and the acting side, if you can keep those cameras rolling, it can give you more flexibility to explore those motivations and delivery of the lines and the motions and things like that. And I wonder how you feel about that.
I think you're definitely right. I mean, I think sometimes that is harder on working on things that are a little bit lower budget because you're not given that time. And sometimes when you get maybe a take or two and you feel like as a performer, like, oh, I've practiced this, I've done the work, and you feel like you're in that moment and you're getting it, but then it's like we have to move to another shot because of that constraint. And sometimes you feel like maybe you miss some moments to bring out the best in yourself or your own work or your character because you were not given that time to play. Mm-hmm. And really that's because you do rehearse a little bit, but things are so different when you're on set in front of the camera. Things start to come to life and start to happen in these nuances, and it's like because I'm one of those that really likes to explore with the other actor and the director and really be in the moment and react to that, and some magical things can happen. And so sometimes when you don't have that freedom, sometimes you just feel like, oh, we could have done more or tried more, experimented a little bit more. So
that's great insight for sure. Thank you for sharing that, because I think that as we go forward, like looking for innovations, how we're going to produce in the field, we're looking at maybe people not working close enough to even seeing their emotions unless there's like monitors, things to get them closer. So lecture halls in education are doing this now, building like huge LED, not even LED walls, but multiple monitor walls, with each screen getting a face. So there's more of a connection with each attendee than there would be just on a Zoom call, so to speak. Not to say we're not connected, but this is more of like a giant aspect scale where it's like having a human there almost. So it's trying to bring that interaction together in a life size scale. And I think that we've seen some of this earlier on with like holograms, with bringing like entertainers back to stage that aren't with us anymore, and things like that, which is a whole other topic, right? Like, oh my God, they're like usurping their image. Would they approve of that? Now, maybe not, but that's a whole other topic. But I do know that we're about 5 minutes out from the actual watch party, and that's going to be on a webinar format. So what we're going to do is we're going to switch over to a different Zoom. That's going to be that second link that I sent out for the webinar. I'll probably start it a little sooner because we got 6:50, and I think we're going to have some other people joining us on that one. So, but I want to thank everyone for coming out and talking. It's so cool to see everybody and talk.
Catch up.
Yay.
Absolutely.
Nice to meet you guys.
We feel so fortunate to have been a part of this production.
What?
And,
Got a DVD? What? There's multiple copies.
What's your favorite memories from the making the movie?
I don't
Oh
even
my
have a
God.
DVD player.
You don't have a DVD player?
No, I don't.
We can have a part 2 call for that one, Michelle, for sure,
Oh,
because
okay,
I know there's
sorry.
gonna be a lot of those, and they're all gonna be good, a lot of good ones, and some of them are gonna be like, hey, let's talk about what happened with the strike, and it's gonna be that aspect
I have
too.
a question for Rachel.
Yeah.
Coming from the film world, the film background, how do you feel about the digital technology as far as filmmaking? Do you feel like too much technology has made us lost our independent spirits?
No, because when I think of Pitchfork, because of technology and the way that he could film it, he was able to write a movie and really do a production around $100,000. And I think because of technology, that's what allowed him to do that.
It certainly looked like a larger budget film than that, for sure.
Yeah, and he put a lot of work into it himself. And I mean, you can definitely see in some of the special effects, that's probably where the lower budget hurt him a little bit, because, you know, that in a film like that is where a big chunk of it goes as special effects. And of course, you know, not being able to spend a big chunk of change on that. But I do feel like that because technology, I mean, when you look at things like, you know, iPhones and the cameras that we have, and you can film and you can, I mean, it really is amazing what you can do independently and craft independently.
Absolutely. Well, that's
And
a
I even
third.
think as an actor, I mean, I have the ability to film a monologue and practice and, you know, redo it. Whereas before it was like in front of a mirror or with my roommate, you know, but if I don't have somebody at my fingertips to do that with, technology, but just in terms of that independent spirit, I think being able to do things without, I mean, even with 100,000, I mean, you could do it all on your own home computer. So I think technology, although I have to admit, I mean, I have such a huge heart for Valencia because I feel like going there and because I did so many student films because I was in the theater program. And so my education to me in film was doing the student films through Valencia. I learned, because I can tell all of you that I had been on these, there was, if you guys know Ruben Santiago Hudson, he's a Tony nominated award-winning theater. I was on the set of Devil's Advocate. I had a little tiny part, but he was standing there and he walked up to me and he said, I don't think I've ever seen an actress be so keenly aware of like what is going on in the set. And I was like, oh, well, they're doing this and this and this and this. And I told him what they can't, you know, and da, da, da. And he was like, how do you know so much about filmmaking? And I was like, well, but I think that I was learning as an actor, but I learned so much from all of you learning. And I remember, you know, there were times I'd pick up a boom or, you know, I'm like, yeah, I'll help. Yeah, I'll do that. But I learned because of being in those student productions, and I'm eternally grateful because it prepared me for professional work. So when people ask me advice, I'm like, go find a film school, go do those student productions. They're learning and you will learn. And I do miss sort of that kind of that, I do miss that just capacity of filmmaking, you know, that sometimes I think gets taken away with technology. I hope that answers your question.
Perfect. Thank you.
That's great. Yes. Thank you, Rachel. Well, I do want to thank everybody, and I hope we're going to schedule an above the line call. I hope, Rachel, that you'll be able to join us on that one as well. That's awesome. I know Mark is looking forward to doing that. He's just on the location right now shooting and wasn't able to join us tonight, but he did send us a message, and I'm going to play in that webinar on that next link that we're going to start shortly. But thank you again. Thanks, Deanna and Ryan and Jean-Luc and Scott and Michelle. Thank you so much for joining us. It's really awesome. You know, the filmmaking, and my takeaway is it's the most collaborative art form there is. And there's so many mediums that are involved in sending that, you know, message that we're all trying to convey from our different aspect and our different role in that film and bringing it all to life. And that's what it is. It's like a living being almost that we're all, you know, putting our essence into, so to speak. Yeah. So just being a part of a creative project like that was amazing. And I want to leave it at that. And I want to thank everyone again.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, thank you. And tune in for the watch party.
Got
Okay,
Yes, sir.
very good.